Greetings and welcome to another episode of Keys to Your Best Life. I'm your host, Maggie Cavanaugh, and we are here to have conversations that move you forward, but also conversations that tell you about great stuff going on. And I have a guest with me today that you are going to enjoy. She is such a gifted woman. I absolutely love her heart for being in the craft of writing and directing and all of these amazing things. She is a philanthropist. I never say that word right. I always butcher it, but she has done intensive work throughout her career. She has worked on multiple projects. She writes a lot. She loves to write about women and the human condition and social justice things. And so I absolutely love her heart for everything that she does. But she has a new film that she's written that's coming out. And I want to tell you guys about it. But first, I want her to introduce herself. Betty, welcome to the broadcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, I am super excited to have you on here because when I was reading about your project, I met you through Jen Godson, a sweet, beautiful, amazing person. And I did not know that you were one of the writers on Farmer in the Bell. And I'm a Farmer in the Bell fan. So I was like so excited about that. Great show that Jen and Jim did. But I'm like, oh my goodness, of course I want to interview her. She's amazing. But you have a new show coming out, a new movie that's out and available on all the platforms called Love in StoryTown. But before we jump into that, I want to ask you a question, because when I was reading your bio, I was thinking, oh my gosh, she's an entrepreneur. She's a screenwriter. She's a producer. She does all of this charity work. So how do you introduce yourself at parties?
Oh, well, maybe that precludes me from to go many pet parties. Well, I don't think about roles or anything. The first thing is, I'm a mom, and I have want to do a good job and before my heavenly God, am I doing what you want me to do? So that's pretty me. I'd like to talk about other people than me. I'm a little shy.
Oh, you're humble is what you are, and it's beautiful. And I love that, being a wife and being a mother and so forth. I love that came out of your heart first above all the other things that God has had you to do. That's absolutely beautiful. But you've been writing screenplays for about 18 years? Is that right?
Yes.
So what kept you going all of these years? That's a lot of writing. That's a lot of creativity. So what has kept you going all these years of that?
First, I know that God wants me to write. And so there's always a story to tell. It comes from my life, and I want trying to write about women in transition, parts of their life that they have to sacrifice or be humble. So it's about the women, and I wanted to normalize Christians in a film, like, oh, that's a Christian. Yeah, that's cool. So that was so yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this because I love a good rom-com. And, when you've done dramas and documentaries and all kinds of TV episodes, a lot of different work, what is different about the rom-com? What is the important thing about that?
Well, it was during COVID, and I had this story from I went back 9 years ago. I started writing it on the side when I wasn't doing other things, and but it was during COVID, and so rom-coms, honestly, they're cheaper to make, and I had to get an agreement from SAG, and I wanted to have creative control because I have 6 daughters, and I know women, And some of them are in their 40s, and that's giving you my age. So that's it all went together, and I had been, yeah, it just came together like, okay, we're doing this, you know.
I love that. I love that. And having six daughters and seeing relationships over the year has probably given you a very good insight of what it is to look like. So, for those of you that have not seen it, we are talking about Love in Storytown. And I absolutely, when I seen the trailer, my heart kind of leaped because there's a young lady on there from Seventh Heaven, and I watched that with my kids when they were younger. But I was watching it and I was thinking, just how often this happens. How often do women fall in love and then things seem impossible and then they turn around and so forth? But this follows a single mom who's leaving the military, trying to rebuild her life. And I love that because the curveballs that is thrown at her in the film itself. So this idea of, do you know someone in the military, or is this about a person maybe, or is it just a good storyline?
Yeah, yes, and her name is Denise. She she was, I met her, she was leaving the military. She was living in an attic with two kids, and she was having a tough time. So then we ended up working together, and she still works there at our family business. And I told her I wrote about you, and I said, "Is that cool?" And she said, "Yeah." She liked it.
I love that. I love that because I guess as a screenplay writer, and I the whole idea of someone writing a screenplay is so amazing to me because I'm writing a book right now, and I believe that it's supposed to be a screenplay, and I know it's a completely different animal there trying to write the two of it. So I love that you were able to draw from this person's life and then kind of base things on it. It almost gives you like a starting point of what is supposed to be like. And I bet she felt very honored that you were writing about her.
Yeah. Yeah. She was good for it. Yeah.
I love that. That is so cool. Absolutely so cool. So I had wondered whether or not there was anything personal that came from it. So the theme, to learn to love again, it's relatable. Okay. There's no one that can watch this film that cannot relate to loving again. So what do the audiences, what do you want them to feel at the end of the show?
Yeah. I mean, I was a single mom, and I did a background on my second husband, but we've been together 36 years. So it's really hard to like, is he the one? God, what are you telling me? And yeah, so I think it's all about trust overall. So.
Yes. It is hard to love again after all of that because once we've been hurt, we're very apprehensive. And so I'm sure that this character is a little uncertain. I married my junior high sweetheart back in 2014. It was like the coolest thing ever. But the reality is even as a woman, and at the time, since you gave away your age, I'll give away mine too. I was 50 when I got married. And who would think? But love is available. It's out there, y'all. So if you want to be encouraged about that, you definitely got to check this out. I absolutely love it. And so Beverly Mitchell is the star of the show, or the main character, I guess you would say. And what was it like working with her? I mean, I remember seeing her on Seventh Heaven, and she doesn't look like she's changed. I don't know. Could you find out her face cream for me? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, she was the right person. She was on board. I didn't want the movie to have a lot of makeup or fancy clothes, a woman in her 40s. And she was, some actors would not do that. And she's a woman of faith. And she got it and she said, yeah, we're doing it. And she's a great mom overall. And she was great with the son on the set. And she taught me a lot about producing and, yeah, just I learned a lot because she's a real pro, in a small film. So it was really nice of her doing it. Yeah.
I love that she's a woman of faith. I did not know that about her, but I always enjoyed her character and her roles. And she does seem to be very transparent. It's not one of those, and I can see where that might be. I know creatives, they're definitely, there are some that are a little bit, they extra grace is required. And so she appears to be just a down to earth. Is she like that in person? Just real down to earth?
Definitely. You could be good friends with her within 5 minutes. She's
Oh, I love that.
she really loves other people, It's cool.
Well, it definitely comes through in her acting and so forth. So I love that. So this just came out on April the 7th and it's on Amazon, right? And I've noticed it's on tons of other platforms. So
Yeah.
what was the journey from the script to the screen been like for you? I mean, I know there's a lot of things. People do not realize all the working pieces. Can you talk a little bit about how that all works together?
Oh, well, the script is always first, pretty much. Maybe an idea. And then you have to take time to get the talent and the money. And then you can produce it. It was produced in 2023. I fell ill, so I lost a couple of years. And I had not been the producer that did the selling and distributor part. So I, I called QED, they're a company. I said, okay, I had written a script for them. Can you help me do this? And they were really nice. And Bridgestone, they loved the movie. And so I think that was all God, because I wouldn't know how to have it happen. So it was just great. But after that, it's 6 to 18 months before things release. So a movie is like 4 to 7 years for people. It's a long journey. Yeah, but it's good. So, but it right now you can rent it or buy it, and then it'll go to platforms that have ads, and then the end of May it'll be streaming for free.
Nice.
But yeah, the rent price is pretty low, so you can watch it down.
Absolutely. And I encourage people to not only rent it, but buy it, because there is something in this story that will help you to communicate with other people. And I personally, whenever I teach, I like to use clips and stuff from stories or movies and so forth. It helps me connect with the audience or give an illustration of what's going on. And so you mentioned your health, and I know that you had suffered from progressive primarily, or is it, what exactly is the PPA? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I am so encouraged by you that you have not let a health crisis stop you from your calling. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, it's PPA. It's primary progressive aphasia, and it means this part of my brain is degenerating. And so that's why my voice is a little robotic. And so Bruce Willis has it. Thank God. 70% of the people that have it, they have frontal lobe, so they have behavior and cognition issues, and I don't. So I'll just slowly lose my voice, and it affects your balance, I guess. But I have a little story about this. I talked to my neighbor Spicer. He's 86, and I said, I freaked out when I first got the diagnosis about a year and a half ago. I knew something was wrong with me. But anyway, so I said, they told me, Spicer, I'm going to die in 3 to 8 years. And he said, how old are you? And I said, I'm 67. He said, he started laughing. I said, Spicer, did you hear what I said? And he said, just put it on the list. I say, what do you mean the list? He said, you're 67, anything could get you, so don't worry about it. He's a Christian too. So from that day, I just said, okay, yeah, you're right. I'm just going to go on just keep going, and so I don't really think about it much.
That's wonderful. You're so encouraging to me because a lot of times people just stop what they're doing and what they're called to do, and you have not allowed it to stop you from doing and living. And I love your neighbor. That's awesome. Everybody needs a good neighbor like him. So I didn't decide rail on that, but I felt like it was important that people understand and so forth, because when we get hit with a diagnosis, and I've had several struggles myself with health issues over the years, and many times we do want to, stop it. There's no stopping for those of us that are called by God. And I'm grateful that you've done it, because you've done a lot of great stuff. I know recently you wrote some episodes for Sugar Creek Amish Mysteries. So that is fun.
That is fun. And I'm waiting for it to come out. The 2 of the episodes are mine that I wrote. And Siobhan is amazing. And the director, Sandra, I hope they have a second season so I could write more.
Absolutely. I met them at NRB, and a friend of mine, Candace Kirkpatrick, is on that show. And I was like, you guys have got to do a season 2. This is really good stuff. So I absolutely love it. So, oh my goodness. So right now y'all can see it. And I encourage you to go ahead and down in the show notes, it'll have all the listings of places you can go to watch this movie. But I noticed that you have stuff that you've done with your daughters, and being a mom is such a beautiful thing with all your daughters. Can you talk a little bit about your production stuff that you do with your daughters and all of that?
My daughters help me. My son, we have a tile company. My son runs it now. Now we have a shop called My Daughters and Me, and it has a lot of different type of clothes in it. It's kind of weird, but it works. It's a small town. And in production, my daughter Blanca, the song Riot Within, she wrote, and that's her song, and she's amazing singer, and she's really gifted by God. It's like a talent. And I got her from Mexico when she was 2.5. So now here she's being a artist. So
that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Send me the link of her music, I would love to listen to it, and I'm sure the others would as well. And I'll put it in the show notes as well, because that's beautiful. Because you're passionate about working. You've worked a lot with poor children and orphanages in Mexico and after disasters and so forth. So how many of your children were adopted, if you don't mind me asking?
I have 2 daughters that are from Mexican, and we're a blended family. My husband had 3 daughters he was raising, and I have a boy and a girl, and we've had a ton of foster kids. And when I was younger, we had we abused, killed children, and moms would come to live in our house. So we've had about 40 people in our house over the years. And then a Christian school took care of the schooling until they had court things going on. So that
That's
was,
ministry.
yeah.
That's serious ministry. Well, thank you for serving all of these years, helping people. We take things for granted sometimes when we're looking at families and we don't realize that there's those out there that need us. So thank you for being a light in that situation. So God has just had you doing all kinds of stuff over the years. I know that you were the producer on a Divided Hearts of America, a documentary about the sanctity of life. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Jason Jones, I guess everyone knows. He called me up. He said, we're doing a documentary and it's about abortion. I said, that I'm in, like, I'm in. And so I was just one producer on it with locations, and I'm getting some money for it. But it got the sent to an award, and it's about genocide of African Americans and by abortion. So it goes into that. Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that how it was set up and used to try to depopulate. And so I'm so glad I have not had the opportunity to see that. Where can I watch that at?
I think it's streaming in different, if you just go put the name, you'll see it maybe on Salem or on, yeah. My film is at Amazon, Apple, Fandango, Hoopla, and Google Play. So yeah.
You covered them all. And listen, y'all, make sure that you share this with your friends and family as well and let them be encouraged. So this has been such a fruitful time, and I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to talk. So what's the one thing you want to see women take away from, those that feel stuck or afraid to start over? What is something you want them to take away from in the Love in StoryTown movie?
Yeah. I want them to have joy daily. Yeah. So I realized, you can't be a Martha. You have to enjoy God and your life that God's given us, because He's our Heavenly Father. They chose us. So I want to please Him, and it makes me be motivated to press on. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in that vein, my next project is called Grandma Wars.
Grandma Wars? Please talk about this. I'm intrigued by the title.
Well, I have to say, I have a lot of in-laws now, and it's a hard transition to be the matriarch and not your number one. So it's about a time of a woman's life, like they have to share. So, and they learn to share, and so it's going to be a really broad comedy.
Oh, I can't wait for that, because one of my favorite hats that I wear is being a grandma. I just think it's like the coolest thing ever. It's like God opens up a chamber in our heart we didn't know we had, and it just like with love and so forth. So, so is this in the process now, or are you just writing it?
No, I already read it. I'm trying to put it together. Yeah, I think it's a good topic, and I think everyone will like it. I'll only say, if you think about Meet the Parents, on the Ben Stiller in this story.
Oh, funny. Oh, I love that. I love it. I'm smiling just thinking about it. So, Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so grateful for all the work that you're doing. And there is such a need, Betty, for what you do because there's so much garbage out there and you're writing things that are relevant to life and you're bringing and shining a light in a way. And I think that Hollywood is starting to get the message that we want clean entertainment with a good storyline. And that's something you're providing. So if you could leave the audience with a key, Betty, and it could be anything. It could be a tip on how to write their story. It could be your favorite scripture or word of encouragement, whatever it is you feel like the Lord is saying.
I kind of spilled it, but it's the joy thing is amazing. And that's why I'm doing these type of films. And the biggest thing that happened at the premiere is they've laughed in the right places and they teared up in the right places. So think about being the Mary instead of the Martha that we tend to be. Yeah.
That's such good advice. Such good advice. And at this point in life, I have a feeling that you know exactly what both those roles are like. And so listen, y'all, you can find StoryTown. You can buy it or rent it right now. All right. Or you can actually order the DVD on Amazon, but it's on Apple TV. It's on Google Play. It's on Hoopla. It's on Fandango. It's everywhere where good movies are watched. Right. And I encourage you to give yourself a break. You know, when we're talking about being Marthas in a Mary, or being, trying to be a Mary in a Martha world, Mary sat at Jesus's feet. And sometimes we get so busy with our Martha busyness that we don't take time to sit down and watch word of encouragement through a movie. And God can speak to us through that, through the trials and tribulations and the encouragement, and find joy in a character in a film. So a StoryTown, it's precious. It's absolutely precious. And Betty, I want to thank you for writing that because we need to remember that there is a second chances and that joy is our strength and it brings forth that. So thank you for writing that. Thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's fun.
Absolutely. I always love talking about what God's doing through my creative sisters. So listen, y'all, you can find it on, you can click on the links below, or you can go to the platforms that we listed. But I want to encourage you to follow all of this on social media and go give a review. Reviews matter, especially when it comes to Amazon. Talk about that, Betty. Is that important?
Yes. And also the social is Love and Storytown movie. And you can see me on Betty Sullivan too. So
that's awesome.
It's mostly pictures of my children. So
oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So listen, y'all, there's a lot of things you can do with your time, and we're grateful that you spent it with us today. Please find, if you're watching this on social media or if you're watching this on YouTube, like, share, comment. If you're listening to the audio, check the show notes for all the links that we've provided. And we thank you for your time today. And thanks again, Betty.
Thank you.
God bless you guys. We'll see you next time here on Keys to Your Best Life.
Bye.